wonderful. I have a visitor. Let's go see who it is. I wonder what today brings. We're supposed to get a bit more snow, and it turned cold again. It's in the minus 20 somethings, Celsius, whatever. It's still winter. Let's see. Watch out for the light. Oh, yeah. Not a lot. Not a lot. But just enough to be okay. A reminder, although cold and white and frozen, gentle reminder that winter is still here, and don't get ahead of yourself. Preparing for your garden. Over there is my garden truck that I built, and I put a square frame around it so it doesn't look like a truck, but it is inside. It's angled like a garden truck. Why I made it square, I don't know. I just thought it would be better to cover it if I needed to. I don't know. It's a venue for the chipmunks to crawl up through the bottom, so it was a bad idea. I have to remedy that in the spring. That's a chore I'll add to my list. Spring. Oh, beautiful spring. What was that again? What did that feel like? What was it like without all this snow? Oh, yes, the robins. That's a sure sign it's spring. Oh, my goodness. I remember now. Because the snow would have all melted, and all I would see on top of my permaculture bed would be the leaves waiting for me to move them or turn them into the soil. Oh, but winter is still here. It's not gone yet. I must wait for my journey. Let's see if we can do this one-handed. Wee-wee! I try to consistently remind myself that very soon, as time passes, there will indeed be a spring, and the snow will melt as it is doing right now at this moment, and soon the permaculture bed will need to be redone and a new permaculture bed built in a different area. So while I ponder over when spring is going to arrive, I can go back in time. I can time travel and remember the journeys of the past. They have been ups and downs and laughs and tears, but for the most part they've been grand because they have been my journey. And my journey is who I am. So take a little trip with me down memory lane. I was born in Los Angeles, California, but that's not where this journey is going to start. It's going to start in Florida, in a small little retirement village called Lanark, where my grandparents lived. At 2.5 years old, this is where I began. My dad dropped me off and walked away. Don't feel sad for me. That's where my journey began, and that's the beginning of the mold to make me who I am. And oddly enough, I am so thankful daily for this transition that happened in my life. Perhaps I wasn't so much thankful as a teenager when I was confused, because you know what teenagers are. They're just a big ball of confusion. But I digress. Let's move on. So by 1968, and I turned 10, Lanark Village, full of retirement people, was not quite right, my grandparents thought. So we packed up and we moved to Panama City, Florida. Yes, that was an amazing journey. The beaches, the white beaches, so white it will blind you in the sunlight. And you jump in the Gulf of Mexico to swim, and it's like bath water. It was heaven. And that theater you see in the picture, I've been there many, many times with my friends. And it would cost 50 cents to go watch a Walt Disney movie at that time. Google can be a wonderful thing, and you can find all kinds of pictures. This happens to be the house that my grandfather bought when we moved, when I was 10, to Panama City, Florida. And he bought a shrimp boat because behind this house was the backyard and also this inlet from the Gulf of Mexico to our backyard. And right over there to your left, if you could squint, you could see a dock. And that's where he used to dock his shrimp boat that he named for me. I'll keep that one private. Back in the day, because this is a newer picture, but back in the day, this bridge over this road, there was a wooden bridge, and they had redone this and rebuilt it and made it more sturdy, because it was quite, I don't know, it was magical, the wooden bridge. But for safety reasons, because of all the hurricanes, it was eroding the bridge. So they needed to redo it. And it's born again into a new bridge and probably still standing there. Now we're going to travel through a wormhole and speed up this journey a little bit. Now we approach high school age. Or was it junior high? I'm not certain. I think it was high school. It was a long time ago, folks. But I wound up in Raceland, Louisiana, very close to where my grandfather was born. Then, of course, at 18 years old, you think you know everything about life, and your journey has been long already when it has barely been a minute. And I married a man for about 4.5 years. Let's just say it didn't work out. But it was a journey. And we started off in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we wound up in New Orleans, Louisiana, for most of the marriage. Just outside of the city of New Orleans in Metairie. And we went through a pretty bad storm where we had 4.5 feet of water in our house, water moccasins swimming around, alligators, their boats driving down the street in front of our house. Yeah, it was quite the journey and quite the experience. Not one I will soon forget. Let us travel back through the wormhole to the now journey. There's my arch nemesis. Yep. Loves the sea pods on my cedar tree. My cedar tree is humongous. There is enough seed pods for this critter to eat for the rest of his life, and then generational of his children. Yes, indeedy, folks. But no, he likes diversity. He likes to have my seedlings. And look at this little fella scaling the tree, hanging on for dear life, thinking he's Spidey Man. Spidey Man, Spidey Man. As I wait for the spring flowers and summer flowers and autumn flowers that happen throughout the season that I'm waiting for in this journey of 2022. I have high hopes for this year. I have high expectations. I also have common sense, knowing the critters are going to be hungry. I will have to share with them, but I can enjoy the beauty of the birds, the flowers, all of the plants I've planted. I do have some work to do in the permaculture bed. The red peonies is amazing. This is the type of irises that I have surrounding, that I transplanted from one bed to another. There it is, in front of my permaculture bed that I was talking about earlier. I don't know if I'm going to leave it there, because to the right of that iris plants, I'm going to put another permaculture bed. So I moved these hostas 2 years ago from the front bed by the stairs. You'll see that in a moment. And they're filling out beautifully. I think. There they are. Now, they love to grow. Right behind the hostas is my hydrangea. To the left of the hostas is my Solomon seal. To the right of the hostas are interlaced with the irises and comfrey. There's an overall view from the top of my stairs. Looking down, that's what I see. I see green. I see hues of green. I see happiness, and I see life that came out of that snow. You remember that snow that was there? Just in case you had a moment of forgetfulness, there you go. That's what I'm living with right now. My journey into spring hasn't started yet, but it is starting to melt a little bit, and soon, very soon, it'll be hot again, and I'll be going, oh, it's so hot. Where's the air conditioner? Got to put it in the window. Oddly enough, it's hard coming out of this cold weather into hot. It's very difficult, but it is a journey that I'm willing to take. So oftentimes in the spring, we will have beautiful days during the day, and then at night there'll be frost on those pumpkins, so to speak, as the saying goes. And you have to rally yourself, pull up your loins, and get out there and protect those plants that you've been babying all pre-spring for those little seedlings to survive. So I've been out there like a crazy woman with many different ways of covering up my plants. This happens to be done in September when we had a frost at night. I've used sheets, I've used tarps, I've used plastic, I've used hoops. I've used my seedling potting cover. I've used many different things, as long as I can keep them covered and protected from the frost. The easiest solution was the sheets over chicken wire, because the sheets don't move. A few little clothespins at certain spots holds it on there, and because sometimes we do get a wind up here on my because I'm so high up on my deck. I have also gotten 2 ladders, 6 and 7 foot ladders, put them on each end. I had the patio table in the middle and had all my plants sitting on it, and then I had 2 ladders on each end. Then I draped over 2 tarps that were stringed together, those holes that come in the tarps. So I put string through that to make a giant tarp, and then draped that over the 2 ladders, and I made an arch. I don't know what I made the arch out of now. And then I made a tie belt sort of out of elastic that I bought years ago. I bought yards and yards of it, and it has clips on it, so it'll wrap around that huge area and hold the tarp down. And then I drape over string because I need to reinforce the middle. Oh my goodness, you'd think I was bracing for a hurricane, but because of the wind it would rip it right off, and then my plants would be dead, and that would not be good. I don't want to do that anymore.